Thank you, Ens. Thank you, Margaret, for the wonderful introduction. Hi, Victor. Hope you're doing well.
Hello. Yes, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invitation. Very happy to be here.
That's great, Victor. So let's get started, Victor. This is basically, I'll have few questions for you. And just to understand and, just to know you for all of us in the audience as well, and in the panelist as well. So we would, if you could start with your introduction about yourself, about your background, and let us all know, and then we can start with the corporate background as well about you. Yeah.
Sure. Well, my background is actually I've been an entrepreneur since I graduated from university. I'm from Hong Kong, but I went to university in the U.S. and I graduated during the financial crisis, and it was a very kind of
Okay.
difficult time. And at the time, my first job was I was working as a property manager, and I was cleaning apartments, fixing toilets, leasing, and everything. And we found it as a very interesting opportunity to do the real estate when the financial crisis happened, right? So I was able to work with my boss and also work with some investors to build a real estate business in the U.S. and during the financial crisis. And it was very bare bones at the time, very do-it-yourself, but the opportunity was amazing. Taking the vacant houses and renovating them and turning them into rental properties again. Around that time as well, I started another business called Restore Flow Allografts. This is a biotech company, and we took veins from cadavers, cleaned them and processed them, and sold them to doctors for bypass surgeries. And this business we had sold in 2016 to a listed company. Around that time, I came back to Hong Kong, where I'm from, and with my cousin and my brother, we started Gini, a business that helped people manage their personal finances. And it was very interesting to start that off because I realized that the business in personal finance is very similar to that in my previous work in biotech, is also in properties. Actually, all of it is taking something that someone doesn't use anymore and repurposes it for another need. In the case of the properties, it was houses. In the case of biotech, it was cadavers no longer needed their tissue. There are people that could use it, and we were restoring those. And in this fintech business that we started, actually, we realized that data is the main important resource, and being able to repurpose it and reuse it for the benefit of our customers has really been an important focal point of our business. So everything I've done has been taking something that someone didn't want or someone didn't need and recycling it since. Now, for us at Gini, we've been running this business in Hong Kong for 5 years. We started out, as I mentioned, in the personal finance space, but about 2 years ago, we started to explore the B2B space because we felt that there was a very big global opportunity for tools for businesses and entrepreneurs to help them, grow their businesses, access capital, and understand the metrics of their business. So this is the direction that we've been headed, and has taken us from Hong Kong to being a Hong Kong app to being a global kind of business where our customers are, in countries all around the world. And at the end of the day, it still comes back down to data. Is how do we take data that people are using and repurpose it for another need? And this has been Gini's direction for the last 2 years, and I'm really excited because it has given us a really interesting opportunity to grow. And I believe that's what we're talking about today in this conversation. But that's my short introduction about myself and the work that we've done.
That's great. Actually, that's really interesting. We definitely sometimes that's a proverb, right? That we see so many things in our life, and that helps us to grow, right? I mean, if you have a good one with you, I would say your co-founder, maybe your brother. So when a person is there already with you, and then you get the motivation, right, to move forward and to, like you mentioned about, like from since 2 years, you're going to B2B, right? You step to B2B so that you can globally get the opportunities. So how actually did you find that global opportunities coming in when you moved to B2B?
Yeah, well, actually, when we were trying to explore direction after our B2C Hong Kong business, we set ourselves a number of criteria, right? The
Mhm.
first criteria was that the sales cycle is short, right? So we were exploring at the time other kinds of B2B opportunities, like working with, corporates and banks, but the sales cycle is so long, and for startups, you really need to do something fast and learn fast, right? Working with big companies is slow, and that's something we didn't want to do. The other was that we felt that we can sell the world. So that was a very big criteria. When we were doing the B2C business in Hong Kong, one of the reasons why we explored the global opportunity is that the market in Hong Kong was just too small, right? We felt
Okay.
confident that we could build like an SME, like a kind of a smaller business that was online, but that's not why we started this business, right? We started this business to build a big company, so we decided to focus on something that we can do globally. And the third criteria was that it's something we believe we can be the best at, right? Something we believe we can win at.
Yes.
And so under those three criteria, we started to look at different directions and different opportunities. And we found that actually what we were doing with personal finance, people had trouble with business, right? They do the accounting, they do the books, but it's very difficult, right? Because it's a pain in the ass to do your accounting, right? But actually, it's a huge important thing for any business to understand their cash flow, to understand their valuation, to be able to present their finances in adequate format, right? And to use it for to grow. So we saw that, and we started to think about where we would fit in that business. In the B2C consumer finance space, we were dependent on banking data in order to build an app. And this data is fragmented. Every country has many banks. So if we were really wanted to build a global business, we um, we we started to integrate with third-party providers that had data access, but the marketing would be very difficult and the coverage is quite poor. So there were a lot of limitations to where we could fit in. So in the consumer space, the data is very fragmented. So we thought, hey, where is the data not fragmented? And on the business space, you can start looking at a lot of these global companies that many startups and businesses run their data through. And in the finance space, it's like QuickBooks and Xero, these accounting tools, as
Yep.
well as Stripe, the credit card processing tool, and there's as many others like even Shopify and Shopee, and these tools all manage money as well, but they're
Yes.
global. So how we basically moved from B2C in Hong Kong to B2B in global is just follow the data. Where can we access the data that is global and tap into that? And that's how we were able to become relevant to a larger group of customers all around the world.
That's great. That's wonderful, Victor. Great to know that. And generally, we also have our partners, right? I mean, we understand that partners play a great role when we are running a business, right? And especially when we are going globally, then our integration partners are really important. So, if you can let us know about your integration partners, who they are, and how did you actually get through it, which helped the business grow.
Yeah, I mean the integration partners are really really important, for any technology company, because the truth is that most technology companies, almost all of them, they rely on other bits and pieces of code or other services in order to build on top of. So
Mhm.
being able to tap into the resources of a larger organization, or um, a company with similar customers as you, or has availability of data, is imperative to making sure that you fit in, because the nature of the internet is everything is all built around. So most of the partners that we have explicit partners programs, and these are very much customer success programs that are meant to help grow these service providers, but also you can become a part of that network to proliferate your own business as well. So we've worked with a number of different integration partners over the years, like even Google. We advertise on the Google Marketplace, and this is a global marketplace, like your Chrome extension store or
Yep.
your Google Sheets. They have the add-ons, right? That is a partnership that is an explicit format, right? So we try to engage in as many of those as possible. We're partners with Xero, we're partners with QuickBooks, we're partners with Stripe, and these are all explicit programs that you sign up, but building a relationship with the service provider is a continuous process and continuous work as well. And the idea is that you should you should be able to sell your sell your partners as tools, right? Like and that's the nature of the partnership. You get access to their data, their
Yes.
APIs, and you provide their customers with more services and help them get more customers. And so these kinds of partnerships in technology are important because they allow you to leverage off each other's work and strengths, right? I don't want to rebuild a whole server network when Ali Cloud can do that for me, and it's all set up and better than I could do myself, right? So how do we
Yep.
leverage
Yep.
each other's tools in order to grow?
Yes, definitely. Tools play a very important role in our growth. That I would say it's really important. And these days we have so many tools, right? I mean, especially this pandemic last 2 years, there has been so many new tools being developed in the IT tech term, right? So I actually personally would like to know about Hong Kong, how it is actually to be in Hong Kong, to have your business set up there, and what may be the advantages, to basically have everything set up in Hong Kong.
Yes, well, Hong Kong, I mean, of course, everyone knows it's been challenging these last few years, but we've remained in Hong Kong and it has been good for us. We have had to make a number of compromises in our business, and we can talk about that in terms of our structure and everything. But Hong Kong is still a great place to open a business, right? Especially a SaaS global business. One of the most beneficial things about building a company in Hong Kong is the corporate tax regime, right? It's one of the lowest corporation taxes in the world, right? So if you're able to build a business in Hong Kong, collect money overseas, it all comes into your Hong Kong bank account. You are, at least you pay at least 100% less tax than anyone in America does, right?
Oh,
Or
that's great.
whoever. I mean, the corporate tax is structured here. So if you're able to build a business, capitalize on the opportunities, globally, then actually it can help you a lot as well, especially as you start growing revenue. And the investors in Hong Kong are also quite well connected. But
Okay.
I mean, this fundraising environment is not ideal these days, but there's still a lot of opportunity as well. One of the great supports that we've received is from Cyberport and the Hong Kong government. I mean, without question, they've supported us a lot over the years. Even has financed Gini, our company, to go to Startup Grind in California, right, the main conference, and that was a really excellent experience for us to go and take the seminars at Startup Grind to learn about the what's happening in the U.S. and to meet investors there as well. We met up with
That's
some of our
wonderful.
investors there as well, and so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to grow here, and especially as the business becomes more remote, work oriented, you can build a business in Hong Kong and hire talent all around the world, right? So at Gini, we're basically going for we've basically had a remote first policy where our staff are starting to become more and more distributed.
Okay.
And we've structured our company like that. So it's been a lot of fun and a little bit of learning, but it's given us the opportunity to grow our staffing in other countries. Like our mainland China team has grown larger. Our Indonesia team has grown larger, and being able to have this remote first kind of mindset but still be in Hong Kong has given us that opportunity.
Okay, that's great. So, Victor, like any business, I would say the stronghold is marketing, right? If you have a good marketing base, if you have a good marketing, when we talk about global presence, we really depend on our marketing activities, right? Our marketing initiatives that we are taking from our organization. So, basically, how do you do with the marketing and we would also like to know like how did you switch from normal marketing to maybe to the global marketing, right? So that to reach out the global clients.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think when you market to certain different countries, you have different ways of doing it. In Hong Kong,
Mm-hmm.
marketing by PR before the pandemic started was very effective. Like doing events in Hong Kong, like where the press would show up, was an amazing channel for growing our Hong Kong business. But once the pandemic started and once we started to go global, obviously that doesn't work anymore. So,
Mm-hmm.
going global, it becomes a lot more about content and about being able to give back to people on a free basis, but as a way to get to know you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we've tried a lot with ads. We've experimented with ads, but to be honest, the whole ads kind of ecosystem globally is kind of off the charts these days. Like it's really expensive to buy ads, and it doesn't really make sense because you have a lot of you know aside from the price, there's a lot of bots out there, a lot of fake users. There's many reasons why your ad traffic is not an easy source to grow. Those who can make it work, that's terrific. But for us, it's been a challenge, and I think for most people, it's a challenge too. Um, Especially because the prices in the last year have almost doubled when it comes to ad buy. So what we've focused on a lot is on content, and it takes a lot more effort, to make content. How do you keep the stamina going to write articles? How do you make videos? How do you make all the how do you keep a cadence of content that makes sure that you remain relevant, and then distributing that right through social channels. This is something that we have not perfected yet either, but we're still, we have some new content ideas that we're building in the next few weeks. But the
Okay.
intention is that you build resources for people to come through and to find you, and it has been effective for us, right? But it does cost money to make content, so these are things that you have to weigh. When it comes to marketing, I mean, events is a great way. This event that I'm doing right now
Yep.
is marketing, right? I'm so glad to see, all these people who maybe didn't hear of me before, and to hear about, the way that we help, companies, with tools to help them grow their business, right? I mean, marketing
Yes.
opportunities like this, doing lectures. We talk to, accelerators. We go to where our customers are, and our customers are SMEs, startups. So it's all about, really focusing on scale, right? Where do a lot of our customers hang? Where are they hanging out? It's about repeatability and efficiency. How can repeat the same kinds of like seminars or events over and over again for different audiences, and to lower the cost that we incur when making content, and how can we make stuff on the internet that's efficient and also useful, right? So that people share it, people search it, people find it. Yeah, and when it comes to marketing, I think that's really the landscape you have to go. If you're going, I can give you other examples in other industries, right? Like I have a good friend. They run direct to customer e-commerce brands, right? So they
Okay.
have they made a store. They're in Hong Kong as well, right? So they made a online store and they made a brand, and they're selling different home goods,
Mm-hmm.
and they've created this brand, and they actually do a lot of work with marketing, right? They're going out and not just to write or try their products, but they're going on social media. They're like talking about their product in TikTok in different countries, right? They're going to do this in different languages, as they try to market to different countries around the world to buy their product. They're
Yep.
making other kinds of content like cooking shows and cooking videos, right, that feature their products. So it's all about how do you create more content that people consume, and then they become aware of your products. So that's really where marketing is right now. Maybe the ads will get cheaper, but it doesn't look like it. So the rest of us have to focus on other mediums.
Mhm. That's great. Yeah. So, like Victor, you mentioned about TikTok, these applications, right, wherein people reach out through different languages, right? When they want to go to global market, when they reach out, would be to the global clients. So, if you have heard about Clubhouse, this is a great application, right? These days, it's going on in iOS and Android both. It's an application actually wherein we have so many people from different parts of the world. They come in, they talk about themselves, they talk about their business, they talk about their work, and they try to communicate and create a community out of your communications. So it's a great app. Maybe sometime you can try it out. Clubhouse
What's the app called
application.
again?
It's Clubhouse application.
Clubhouse. Yes, I know
Yeah,
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Yeah. So it's been
Yeah.
around 7-8 months. I've been on Clubhouse, and I know so many people out there.
We know you're an
And
influencer on Clubhouse.
yeah, yes, Victor. That's actually a learning. That was a learning path for me also. But today, I'm really glad because I know so many people out there, and all are from different parts of the world. Like US, Singapore, India, from every parts of the world, I would say. And people come in, they meet, they talk about their business, they talk about communicating, and there are some people who come and talk about their personal growth as well, right? So it's actually wherein you can not only build your business relation, but of course you can make good friends, you can make new friends from different parts of the world. So it's quite interesting.
Clubhouse is great, but I think I liked it when the content was good, but there's a lot of content that's not so good on Clubhouse as well. But
Yeah.
I thought that it was great. I thought it was great. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, because there are, right? There are different people in different parts of the world. Some use applications for good things. Some have just fun, and they just right now everything is being commercialized. So whatever
Hmm.
it's all on you how you're using the stuffs out there, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm learning. So apart from
I'll
this,
come back on Clubhouse and I'll join your group as well. I'd love to do that.
yeah, sure, Victor. I'll do that. I'll ping you my Clubhouse link, my profile, and you can follow me, and even I can follow you back, so that we can join. And whenever I have events, you can get the notification, and then you can join me on my events. Yeah.
Great.
So moving forward, just I would like to know maybe about like we spoke about expanding our business globally, right? So how fast we can do this? I mean, is there any kind of a shortcut? I would ask, but or how did you do this? How are you doing this?
Well, there are no shortcuts, but I think the key is really on trying to leverage existing technology to try to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the best way to grow, right? For us, it's about we financial data to make our tools work. So where can we get the financial data the easiest? And from there, you can start to put your marketing efforts into different channels and grow globally. But for other companies, it's about how do you get in front of different people, right? And the marketing becomes a very interesting part of that. Is how do you engage with local communities, in different languages or different, kind of styles, right? The companies that I know that have grown really fast have been able to do that really well. I mean, you mentioned Clubhouse, right? Like, how did they suddenly expand so quickly, even though they're just a California thing, right? And
Yep.
and there's like a virality aspect to it. There's a FOMO aspect to it. For B2C, for consumer stuff, I think is a lot easier. Way
Yes.
easier for something like Clubhouse or TikTok or ByteDance or whatever to grow globally, right? For B2B businesses, it's a little bit more work, but the kinds of metrics that, B2B businesses, the benefit is that actually businesses will pay, right? So it's actually a very different type of business model with a B2C business where the customers are, basically they are the product and they are, the company makes ad revenue off people's participation. You earn a lot less per customer, but you can grow a lot faster. On B2B, people have to pay, and it's a little bit slower, but people stick around a lot longer. Once they like your product and they use it, they're stuck. So it's a kind of a different type of business, but there's still a lot of opportunity there. I do think the SaaS type of business model is something that is scalable across the world, right? For companies, for people in Hong Kong or people anywhere in the world, they can create a global business with software and a website and a domain name. So there's a lot of opportunities there. If you can make a great product, that's the first step in growing fast and growing big. The next step is really how do you get your name out there and get more users to come on. It becomes a function of your CAC and your LTV. Your customer acquisition, if you can keep it low, if you can make all your money back in a customer's acquisition in less than 1 year, that's a really good metric for you to continue to buy ads to grow that business. And if your lifetime value is, can be more than 4 times what you spend on a customer, there's a lot of money you can use there to grow your business, as well as, keep building out your product, right? So the SaaS business, even though it might be harder to get started, once people start paying, you can recycle that money into ad revenue, or ad buying, marketing, those kinds of things, right? So it becomes like a propulsion.
Yeah, true. So when you talk about SaaS companies, right? So Axiom IO, we are our SaaS company as well. So we have been in the industry since 7 years, and we are growing. And when we talk particularly about marketing, since you mentioned, right, that when you get a business and then you start growing with that money that comes in, so that's how B2B actually it's a large one. It's a large area, B2B. And B2C, again, it was quite rightly said, it's really easy in B2C to get clients and to grow globally. It's not that difficult, but B2B is definitely a huge path, so it takes time. And
B2C, the customers, you have to really convince them to stick around because there's a lot of competition for their attention.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So one last thing I would like to know, Victor, is about like, if I say that, like, what made you actually go through this change? If I ask you this, like, because as you mentioned, it was last from 2 years, you plan to go for B2B and then grow globally, right? So what made you click this in your mind that I should go for this change?
Yeah, I think for me, it was that I wanted to build a big business, right? My ambition is to build a company that has high growth, has high revenues. And the most logical way for me to do that was in the B2B space, right? The B2C space has a lot of regulatory issues when it comes to finance and FinTech. There's a lot of competition. Even buying ads, you buy ads for FinTech, B2C, like consumer apps, you're competing with HSBC and, JP Morgan for like the ad positioning, right? It's a really difficult challenge. And like I mentioned, the sales cycles in other kinds of B2B, like working with banks, is very, which was a natural thing for us, potential. It was a very long sales cycle, and that's not something that I was very interested in. So yeah, going from B2B to B2C to B2B, it's really we felt that this is the best opportunity for us to build a big business. Hong Kong is great, and I think we could have made the business work here, but it would be like an SME. right? And that's
Yeah.
not really, what I set out to do. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, our company is here in Hong Kong. We love Hong Kong. We just changed our customers a little bit, and the trajectory has been very positive for us. So I feel great about that. But it was tough, having to make a choice to say this thing that we love, this app, and this thing that people, our users, our customers still are using today, right? It's not the future for our business, but we maintain it for those who are still on it, and we thank you, and thank them for all of your support. But for the company, we felt that B2B shift was the best move.
Mhm. That's great, Victor. Thank you so much for actually setting up such brief answers to every questions, and making it easy for all of us to understand. How because I'm sure in a lot of people's mind it would go on like how it is to start a business in Hong Kong, right? And then again, a question that comes in is how to go global. So thank you so much for being so much brief and explaining us. Anything you want to share about your experience or about your learnings, which could benefit all of us today who have joined the session?
I think the one thing that I would leave people with is that I encourage you to look bigger and be more ambitious when you start your business, right? Being just Hong Kong's app was maybe ambitious for a younger version of me, but I realized that my ambition was too low. From the beginning, I should have been looking global, right? And I see a lot of young founders today, and they want to be number one of this in Hong Kong, or number one of that in Hong Kong. And I tell them, look outside, right? Like Hong Kong is still a great place to run a business. We're still a good place to earn money, especially if your customers are overseas, because there's so many of them, right? So I think that's what I would encourage people to do, is to look at how your business can, from the start or very early on, be a global business. Because that way that you can make your market is bigger, you can make more mistakes, you can learn faster, you can get more feedback, get more customers, and grow more quickly. So that's what I would leave as the last note. So thank you very much for your questions.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let me see. I'm just gonna add Gary Sian as well as presenter mode on.